Remember when John Madden got into the Pro Football Hall of Fame and your initial reaction was, wait a minute, he's not there yet?
Right.
I felt the same way when I heard the Roselle Award winner was Pete Roselle Award winner was Brent Musburger this year. And he finally got his due. And he's kind enough to join us here after his Canton weekend, right here on the Rich Eisen Show, the great Brent Musburger. Good to see you, Brent. How are you?
I'm fine, Rich. Thank you so much. It was a memorable weekend, and I I was so excited. There were 100 Hall of Famers who showed up. Okay, and Dan Fouts, Rich, did a fabulous job of introducing each of them. And you have been there. They come up into the center of that stage, and then they form two rows outside, just down below the steps. And the four new Hall of Fame members come through them. It was a heck of a weekend. I enjoyed everything about it.
Yeah, and you got a great view from the dais, right? Nice bird's eye view, like you're up there in the booth, right? Back in the day.
Exactly.
And seeing all this go down, and that you're referring to the jacket dinner where, again, you made a speech on Friday night. Who did you see this past weekend that you hadn't seen in a very long time, Brent, that you're excited to reacquaint?
Well, Larry Zonka, for one, okay? And when we finally took our airplane, a little delayed on Sunday, he was sitting right in front of us with his wife. And my goodness, takes me back to those great days of the Miami Dolphins. But I go on, Michael Irvin, Tony Dorsett. I covered Tony Dorsett when he was at Pittsburgh as a college player, and then with the Dallas Cowboys, and Dick Vermeil. I mean, we went out to lunch. One of the great storytellers of all time, and it was good with Jared Allen when Vermeil presented him with the jacket, and Vermeil had difficulty because before Allen ripped his pants.
That's right. You need a step ladder. Got to get a step ladder to get over those shoulders. Yeah.
James Lofton, I saw at the airport. We had a long talk, knowing him for years. It was just so many great memories with all of them. And Antonio Gates, Rich, that was special. When you go back and look at his career, he never played a down of college football.
Isn't that amazing?
Not a down. Now think about, there's nobody else in the Hall of Fame that didn't play any college or amateur football, and then he became a Hall of Fame tight end with the Chargers. No, it was great.
Yeah, apparently the story goes with Gates is that Nick Saban wanted him to play football at Michigan State, offered him, but he also wanted to play for Izzo, and the answer was no. So he's like, all right, I'll go play basketball at Kent State. Now look where he is. He's in Canton. Unbelievable.
And, he took Kent State, also, to be pointed out, he was a way above average college basketball player. He took Kent State to the Elite Eight. Now that's accomplishing something, my man. And so it was one great. And then the Sharps, first brothers to go in. Sterling I knew really well because he was the only one of the four who was drafted in the first round. And I couldn't help. I had to tease him. I said, "Wow, first set of brothers to go in, Sterling." I said, "I'll tell you what, the Mannings are very unhappy with you." And he laughed and broke up. I had to tease him. But I sincerely hope that the Manning brothers also become the second set of brothers to make the Hall of Fame. But next year, you know who's going in, my man, Bill Belichick. They changed the rule.
They did.
And coaches only have to be out 1 year to be eligible for the Hall of Fame. He will be unanimous. You'd be unanimous, and we'll wait and see if he brings his very attractive girlfriend with him to the gold jacket ceremony. You know what I mean, Rich?
Brent Musburger, you never change, sir. How dare you even think of changing? You just be you, Brent. I love it. Yeah, and Breeze is a first ballot guy next year, and Larry Fitzgerald is a first ballot guy next year, and it's entirely possible Witten could be one as well. And, it just gets tougher every year, it seems. To get into Canton,
Rich, I want to point out one player I was really surprised is not in there. In the Hall of Fame, they have the Black Hall of Fame. And back in the day, a lot of the younger people don't realize that back in the day, a lot of the great athletes went to the black colleges and universities.
Right.
I thought Doug Williams was in the Hall of Fame. Now, he is the first African-American quarterback to win a Super Bowl, and he was the MVP. I thought for sure he'd be in, but he's not. So I hope the old timers committee remember. He was extremely nice to deal with. The NFL Today has great memories of Doug Williams and the interviews we did with him.
Yeah, I mean, Plunkett's not in either, which is, I think, something that needs to be rectified. But, and again, the voting has changed, and we shall see. But you deserved it. Who did you think of, when you're putting your speech together? And just walk me through your memory lane that you strolled as you were getting set to speak in Canton and accept this honor, Brent.
Well, there were so many great announcers through the years. Vince Scully was with it at CBS, and I so admired him. And he called that great pass from Joe Montana to Dwight Clark in the end zone. I remember that was Scully's last game with us. He left and went back to the Dodgers full time. Dick Enberg was another great friend. Kurt Gowdy, the old cowboy from Wyoming. People don't realize he was a heck of a basketball player when I was a youngster growing up. So I owe so much to all of these guys because I learned from every one of them. And of course, with the NFL Today, Rich, it's so sad for me that Phyllis George, Jimmy the Greek, and Irv Cross were not there with me. Now, they surprised me. Jane Kennedy actually came out and introduced me. It was great seeing her because Jane and Phyllis were the two women who held it together. And oh, by the way, they preferred seeing Phyllis and Jane to Brent, Irv, and the Greek. And I'm talking about the players when you come out to interview them. And there in the background is Jack Whitaker of your fine pictures, Jane in the middle with Irv and the Greek. Back in the day before the NFL Today, Jack Whitaker hosted the pregame show with Pat Summerall, but they taped it on Friday night. Friday night. And then they played it before the game. So Bob Wessler said, Brent, can we go live? I said, well, I don't see why not. And so off we went. But I owe so much to so many people who, and you forget the great directors and producers you work with. Bob Fishman was our first director on the NFL Today. Duke Struck came along. Mike Pearl was in there as our producer. I mean, people don't realize, we're the front guys. We're the face of what they do and everything. But behind us, we've got all these great cameramen and tech. I went into the truck, and by the way, NBC, I have to thank them so much for their game and inviting me to appear with Maria Taylor and then later with the guys upstairs. It was great. And I just wish the Detroit Lions had shown up like the rest of us. You know what I mean, Rich?
Catch the Rich Eisen Show live weekdays from 12 to 3 p.m. Eastern on Roku Sports Channel in the U.S.